And konnichiwa, and welcome to the Onyx Tavern. I'm your host, Rick the Barkeep, bringing you episode 136 here at the tavern, presented by HeroTaku.com. So, honestly, I've been running out of ways of explaining to everybody why I hate RPM. Um, Again, I did a whole video about it. I did the video in which I responded to Linkara's history of Power Rangers. Raptor and I did a video where we discussed it together. Unfortunately, that's been taken down by YouTube. And then, of course, every chance I get, I do bash the series. I'm not going to shy away from that. If I have a chance to point out how bad RPM is, I do it. But frankly, I think I've really said everything there is to say about RPM and why it failed in my eyes. Now, again, everybody else is entitled to their opinion. If you thought RPM was great, great, but I'm trying to at least point out the flaws to everyone that even if you think it's great, it was a very flawed series, and as Linkara did point out in his video, there were some behind-the-scenes problems. As I've said before, giving it to somebody who'd never work in live action, limited budget. And frankly, it sounded like people who did not want to work on the series because ABC, Disney had no faith in the series at that time. But again, these are things I've already said before, and I've gone into great detail on these, and I really don't think I need to say anything more on the subject. Except, I came across an interview by Rose McIver, who played Summer on RPM. Now, it's no secret that I hate Summer. She's one of the worst Rangers in the history of Power Rangers. And it has nothing to do with Miss McIver. I'm sure she's a great actress and the other things that she's been in. I'm sure she's a great person and all that. But I do take issue with what she did say in this interview, because to me, what she said in this interview, I mean, it just kind of clicked with me. I'm like, that's why the series did not work. That is why we had these problems in the show. So I'm going to go ahead and, first of all, I'm going to post the link to the interview in the comments section below. So if you want to go ahead and read it for yourself, go ahead and do it. But I will quote verbatim exactly what she said, and I will tell you what the problem is with this. So IGN's basically asking her a question about the new Power Ranger movie, and what advice, since she had been a Power Ranger, does she have to the next generation, to these new actors who are going to be in the film. And this is Rose McIver's quote, and again, I will give you the entire quote. "Oh my goodness, that was probably one of the funniest 8 months stints of my life. We just laughed our heads off. We had so much fun. I think, make sure you enjoy it. Don't take yourself too seriously. You're fighting monsters in rubber suits, but it's a blast. It's so cool, and it's so cool to be part of something that as a child my peers watched, and I look now, there are children watching it still. It sort of transcends one particular generation, and that's so fun to be part of, so enjoy every minute." Okay. I mean, that seems like an honest opinion. She had fun doing it. She's telling everybody else to go ahead and have fun. But if you actually look at what she's saying here, let me repeat this line. This is what stood out to me. Don't take yourself too seriously. You're fighting monsters in rubber suits. That, in a nutshell, is what was wrong with RPM. Don't take yourselves too seriously. You're fighting monsters in rubber suits. Okay, so what was the premise of RPM again? Oh yeah, it's the end of the world. The human race is being eradicated by a machine who thinks humans are vermin. And you are the last surviving remnants of humanity, and you must save the world. I mean, how do you say don't take yourself too seriously in that role? How can you be in that particular role and say don't take yourself seriously? I mean, did Christian Bale say, well, I'm playing Batman, so I'm not taking myself seriously in this? Did Patrick Stewart say, hey, I'm playing, Professor X, I'm not taking myself seriously? I mean, who doesn't take themselves seriously when they're doing a superhero role? Yes, Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool, I got it, whatever, but that's supposed to be comedy. That's supposed to be self-parody. Power Rangers RPM was supposed to be a serious show. It's supposed to be about life and death stakes. I mean, you can't get much more in life and death than this is the last remnants of human civilization in this one city. And she says, don't take yourself seriously? Because that tells me she didn't take it seriously. You're fighting monsters in rubber suits? I mean, you can't have that mentality going into this show. Okay, alright. So I'm not an actor. By no means. I took acting in college, but whatever. That's college acting, whatever and stuff. But I have met actors, I've talked to actors, I've interviewed actors, and I'd like to think I know a thing or two about what they do to prepare for roles, at least from what they're telling me, okay? I don't think you go into any film or television show where the premise is it's the end of the world, don't take it seriously. Because if that was her mentality in RPM, and she's not necessarily saying that she didn't take herself seriously, but I'm inferring that that's what she did. Don't take yourself seriously. I mean, she said she was laughing the entire time. It was the funniest time. And yes, you can have fun on the set. I get that. That's not a big deal and all that. But she's not taking the role seriously. And frankly, when I look at the character of Summer, I can see that in her performance. That the actress, she's doing a great job. Rose is doing a great job, don't get me wrong. But she's not taking herself seriously. She's not taking the role seriously. If you are there as an actor and you're looking at the monster across from you and say, that's just a guy in a rubber suit, then you don't have the right mindset to be an actor in this particular situation. You know, maybe if you were doing this in the Mighty Morphin days, I could do that. And, you know, if David Yost came out and said, you know, don't take yourself seriously, it's Power Rangers and all that, I get that. But this was Power Rangers RPM. This was, what, 17, 18 years after the fact? And this speaks to, I think, the greater problem with Power Rangers overall is that, and this is actually something else in her quote. She says, I look now that there are children still watching it. Okay, red flag right there. You're assuming that this is a show for children. Okay? Now, you guys can quibble all you want about whether it's a children's show or not. I like to think that the demographic for Power Rangers is at least in middle school. Yes, there are kids in elementary school that watch it, but I like to think that they're moving up in the world, that they're getting a more mature audience, that they're retaining their audience, and that their themes are moving in that direction. I mean, again, take first season of Mighty Morphin, the Power Rangers in Space, a 6-year span. Look at the quality of programming from there to there in 6 years and the types of stories we got. Heck, when we got to Lost Galaxy in the 7th season, I mean, we had the death of a main character, and it mattered. There was emotion, there was conflict. We had all these things, and it only got better and better throughout the original Saban run. But for some reason, the 17th season, we can't have those things. We can't take them seriously. That they are, at the end of the day, to these actors, monsters, or rubber-suited monsters. I mean, I don't get it. How do you go into that basically saying, hey, you know, don't take it seriously, it's just Power Rangers? I mean, I think there is a systemic problem with that kind of thinking, which, if she was not the only one, if everybody else had that mentality going into RPM, then that totally explains everything that happened. Because, yes, the producer did not go ahead and work in live action. He was kicked off. They brought people in halfway through the series. The budget was cut. The studio didn't believe in it. But you know what? I can forgive all those things if every actor was trying their hardest. If they were basically saying, I'm going in every day and giving my best performance I can. And I'm not saying they have to be like Heath Ledger and throw themselves into the role the way he did with the Joker. What I'm saying is, take it seriously, folks. It may just be a temporary job for you. You only worked part-time and you're going to move on to something else down the line. I get that. But you got to take yourself seriously. You got to take the material seriously. You have to take the other actors and what they're doing seriously. You can't just... It wasn't a comedy. It wasn't supposed to be. It turned into one. I mean, RPM, again, was supposed to be serious, and they didn't take themselves seriously. And again, she's basically saying, I didn't take it seriously. Don't take it seriously. You're fighting monsters in rubber suits. I mean, again, does anybody else feel that way? That's basically what she's trying to go ahead and say? And then again, she's looking at it as that she's looking down to children. That, oh, it's a children's show. I don't have to work that hard. I don't have to be serious. I mean, we've seen actors do this before in previous roles where they do think that the material is below them. But there are actors who think the material is below them, but they give a great performance. Case in point, Hugo Weaving in Captain America: The First Avenger. He's gone on record a number of times saying he thought the material was goofy and that he didn't like it. May not be back for a sequel to Captain America. When he does play may not play the Red Skull again. But man, did he play that role great. One of my favorite things about The First Avenger was Hugo Weaving as the Red Skull. Now, I'm sure he took the entire situation seriously. I'm sure everybody took the situation seriously. Look at every other superhero movie out there. With the exception of Batman and Robin, everybody takes it seriously, right? I mean, that's where I feel the problem is with RPM, is that it's supposed to be serious, but people are not taking it seriously. And there's your problem. But here's the thing. If Rose McIver's comments are heard by the new cast, and they have that mentality that don't take it too seriously, you're fighting monsters, rubber suits, ants for children. If they have that mentality going into the next movie, what does that mean for the next movie? I'm not going to say it's going to ruin the movie or it's not going to go ahead and be good, but you have to be serious in these roles. I mean, I would like to think this new movie coming out will be a more serious film. They said it's going to be more grounded, a little down to earth, but still going to have some fun in it, and that's fine. I mean, you can do that with any of the films. I would argue Avengers is like that. That it's very serious, but does have some fun in there. I mean, another movie, Age of Ultron. David Spade, he did a great job as Ultron. He was serious and menacing, but he did have some fun with the role, which I thought was natural for the character. Nevertheless, I know he was taking that role seriously because he is a consummate professional. Now, Rose McIver, she's an actress. She's professional, but she wasn't doing it professionally in the role, in my opinion. Because you can't give somebody the material of Power Rangers RPM, say, oh, it's the end of the world, and you all may die by the end of the series, and then she's like, oh, yeah, that's funny. No, you can't do that. And the fact that did happen, that's... Again, I don't know what else to say to you guys. I mean, that's what I took from these comments. That's when I read them, light went in my head. I'm like, yes, that is why RPM failed. That is why RPM had these problems, is because at least one person was not taking the material seriously and was thinking she was in a different show. I mean, Power Rangers RPM was not on the Disney Channel. This was not something at 3 o'clock in the afternoon for adolescent tweens to go ahead and watch and ogle at the girls about. This was supposed to be, it was sold to us through the previews as a serious, dark show that was crossed between Terminator and X-Men Origins and all those 80s movies. And actually, this is a point I did not make in previous videos, so please excuse this digression real quick. The whole point that they said was to have a throwback to those 80s post-apocalyptic movies like Mad Max and The Terminator and so forth. And again, we even got 2001: Space Odyssey. But you want to know something that none of those films were? Comedies. Yeah, not a single one. None of those 80s action movies that were the inspiration for RPM were comedies. And I would like to think Schwarzenegger took his role seriously. I'd like to think that Mel Gibson took his role seriously. I'd like to think that Kubrick took 2001 seriously. I would really like to think that they took what they were doing seriously, and nobody looked at Hal on the wall and goes, oh, that's just a light bulb on the wall. Whatever, don't take it seriously. I'm sure, Schwarzenegger or Michael Biehn was like, that's just a puppet. I don't have to take myself seriously. I'm just fighting a puppet in this. They didn't do that. And if you, as an actor, miss that, I don't know what to say. I really don't. I don't want to attack her, but maybe I am. I don't want to. I really don't want to, guys. But it just annoys me that every time something about RPM comes out, I just see another reason why it failed, okay? Now, again, You may love it and all that, but you have to be aware of the flaws. And this, to me, is a pretty big flaw. That you go into a production like this, of an established franchise, where, again, the key word is apocalypse, and you don't take the role seriously. And and basically you're telling you, and again, what she is basically saying is, don't take it seriously, folks. She's saying that to the other actors, and she's telling that to the audience. Don't take it seriously. I mean, this article also talks about her, not vampire, zombie show, and somehow I I'm thinking she takes a show about zombies more seriously than a show about Power Rangers. Just a wild guess right there, but whatever. So, okay. So again, if it sounds like I'm going after Miss McIver and I'm trying to bash her, no, I'm not trying to attack her as an actress. Again, I hate Summer, but I'm really disturbed by her quotes, okay? And if she actually did not take this show seriously, then I am disappointed in her for doing that. Whether the director told her, whether she thought that's what she needed to go ahead and do, it was wrong. That's what I'm going to say. If the attitude was to not take it seriously, that is wrong. And the attitude to tell other people, don't take it seriously, that is wrong too. Because you can't take life and death situations involving the end of the world and Power Rangers and think it's a joke. You can't do that, folks. You just can't do that. All right, I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna stop here. Leave your comments. Let me know what you guys think about it, and I will see you guys next time. And hopefully, I'll be on a less hectic topic. So, thank you guys again. Have a good evening. The tavern is now closed.